Hello, everybody, and welcome back to CX Unplugged. I'm your host today, Costa Trianafilu. With me, honored to have two female powerhouse guests pioneering the circular economy space and industry. We're ecstatic to have Natasha Frank with us from Eon Group and Maria Marais from Circlo. How are you both doing today?
Good. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you, Costa. It's a pleasure to be here with you and with you as well, Natasha, to have this chat today. It's great.
A pleasure is always ours on the SAP side. So there's an interesting topic that I wanted to talk about, something that I've been thinking about, and that is kind of the correlation between the circular economy and what marketing does. Fundamentally, the circular economy is based on designing out waste, if we think about it, right? And that's a similar tactic to what marketing needs to do. Kick out the waste from the funnel if it's B2B, kick out wasted customers if it's more of a B2C type of industry, wasted spend, wasted opportunities, wasted engagement, breaking customer relationships. It's almost like a double-edged sword for circular brands because it's even more difficult. Not only do they need to really consider the customer's train of thought, but they also need to be doing the greater good for the world out there. And for brands that are wanting to get into that circular economy, there's a lot of considerations that they really need to take into account. And Natasha, I wanted to start with you on that. I saw a fantastic article or a piece of content that you were a part of around the whole smart garment world interconnected and how that fits into the circular economy. And that's an advanced topic in general outside of the circular economy, a difficult thing for marketers to have to deal with because you need to be really savvy to kind of deliver that. But it's a huge opportunity as well. So before circular brands really look at diving into the big picture of driving engagement, what are the fundamental core things that they need for success?
Great. I think what we're seeing is that the circular economy is really a shift in terms of how brands engage and service customers. And historically, brands have lost contact with customers at initial sale. Right? They sell that product, and it's what we would define as a transactional relationship between brand and customer. You have this point in time where you buy the product and then the customer leaves and, never to kind of be seen again in a lot of cases. And the physical product is actually the glue between the brand and the customer. And so by creating smart, connected products, brands are able to turn every physical product into a point of sale and a media channel. So that product becomes a gateway where the customer can scan that product, that QR code, tap that NFC chip, and really engage with the brand, whether to repurchase, reorder, resell. And the relationship between the brand and the customer moves from what we would call a transactional relationship into this transformational relationship based on ongoing value and services. And simultaneously, that ensures that every product can be identified, managed, and monetized through the circular economy, and that brands can recapture those more products for resale and recycling.
So a product-focused approach, right?
A product-focused approach. Yeah.
Right. We sell products at the end of the day, right? And there needs to be a story and some level of belief behind that story for our customers to really buy into that notion. Maria, I want to kind of just dovetail to you quickly on something that was similar for what Circlo's done, a piece of content article that I read on IoT, similar to smart garments. It talked about how IoT had the potential to disrupt sustainability completely. What does that mean? And more importantly, what does that mean for marketers?
Well, what it does mean for marketers is that they need to get their heads around from a narrative of customer centricity for a narrative of customer centricity where product is part of that narrative. I think, and I completely agree with Natasha's point of, sometimes having to step back and think about what we mean by circular economy. And it's a massive change in terms of mindset. It's a change from a linear way of thinking in which you create, it's cheaper to create a new product than to repair, or there's no end of life specifically designed for that product. That used to be a profitable model, but because profitability was not accounting for so many other things in the supply chain, the moment that there's visibility, we can track and trace what actually is going on, other elements will come into what we would say it's the calculation of profitability. And if we really consider that profitability needs to account for the cost of people, planet, and not just a basic profitability model based on cost to create something and then transport it all over the world, and being creative in terms of how that profit is actually calculated. But once you have the data, there's no hiding. You just know what's going on. So it means a lot to marketing, because you need to be able to explain extremely complex scenarios in very, very simple ways, in order to pass on the message to your audiences. So it's really extremely hard for marketing at the moment to do that, to be able to come up with a simple message that doesn't compromise on the complexity of what actually is being done.
A very interesting word that you said there earlier, and it's a bit of a tongue twister: customer centricity. I want to go to the audience here, everybody who is watching this stream. What does customer centricity mean to you? Everybody, again, and watching this show, drop us some comments in there. What's that definition mean to you? Because customer centricity is different for everybody. And what we expect as a customer, myself, is completely different from what Maria and Natasha is probably expecting in terms of engagement. On that note, we talked about a lot of examples about how to make things more meaningful, how to make it more real. A big challenge, Natasha, that brands have in this space is the whole notion of greenwashing, right? I mean, how can brands who are circular really prove that they're trying to drive the better good for their customers and for the world and economy in general?
Yeah. And also, how can brands sustain making the continued investment in sustainability and capitalize on it? Because the financial sustainability of the products is crucial, and of the brand. And what we've been seeing a lot is that customers are really making decisions about sustainable products at a product level. So a lot of, if you go to a brand's website and you go, they maybe have a sustainability tab on their website about what that company is doing in terms of the sustainable initiatives and their governance and their ESG, but none of that really actually speaks to the customer, right? They don't know that when they're looking at the e-commerce page and they're purchasing that shirt, how many gallons of water did that shirt take? What is the performance of that product? So they actually want sustainability to integrate with their experience of commerce. And they want that information to be brought forward to them on a product level. They want to know this shirt, the impact. And so by sort of creating an ID, a digital ID for each and every product, we can start to also map and align products and customers. And that's the marriage of successful marketing, right? When that product information services and meets that customer in the right way. So this intersection of sort of customer centricity, to both of your guys' point, really does meet with the product to bring forward that right product to those customers' needs.
Key theme here that we've been talking about across this entire episode, and everything is product focused, product centric, right? We buy products at the end of the day. But they don't always work out. Sometimes things fall apart. It's not the right product. We were greenwashed. Whatever happens. Maria, can you give us some examples of successful marketing without greenwashing, and some brands that have maybe had some success with that?
Well, there are certainly examples, particularly in the startup and scale up world, because they started their business model considering circular economy, whilst sometimes big corporate, of course, we're talking about transformation journey. We're not talking about, in many cases, starting with circular economy in their mind. Of course, there are exceptions for that. I mean, companies like Natura, Body Shop, companies like Patagonia, they were born with that in their DNA. But many other companies are going through a transformation process. So it's easier to find good examples, I would say, in scale-ups and startups that are addressing particular issues in the market. And the segment where I see the biggest innovation is in supply chain tech. So many examples, for example, in terms of plastic reduction. So companies like Reprieve reusing ocean plastics to create new materials, or Scrappo to create trading recycled plastics on online marketplaces. Some good examples of blockchain technology being utilized as well. So I think we need to look at specific examples and how big corporates are using these startups to proof of concept and solve some of their problems. I think that's the exciting part.
So let's bring this all together. We talked about a lot of examples around what's needed to make it successful. We talked about how we can avoid the greenwashing. Let's dive into the real nitty-gritty. And I also want to ask this question again to our audience at the same time. Please feel free to engage in the chat as I ask this question to both Natasha and Maria. What for you makes something believable? What makes a circular brand something that you want to believe in, somebody who you want to do business with? Or conversely, what makes you not believe them? What makes you not want to do business with them? Question to both of you. We'll start with you, Natasha, and again, audience, please feel free chime in your comments.
Yeah. I think one of I'll speak in terms of a concrete example of what's really inspired me is a client of Eon's, Yux Net-a-Porter Group. They're rolling out product ID portfolio-wide. So they want to basically make it very easy for customers to participate in resale. Now the customer can scan and tap that product and instantly resell. They can scan and tap product, access all the sustainability information about where that product came from, who made it. And so when we talk about sort of what to me feels, I guess, authentic as a brand is actually embedding principles of sustainability and circularity within each and every physical product.
Maria, what about your thoughts?
Well, I tend to, because of the work developed at Circle, really look into what makes me believe is ideas that do not try to reinvent the wheel and really try to create business models leveraging a collaborative model. So this is interesting because, of course, if we look at how business schools explain how you set up a business, is all about competitive analysis, and some models, which in my view and in Circle's view are outdated models of developing circular economy businesses, because the collaboration is not something a business can wait to be raising Series A or Series B to actually be thinking about. It's something that needs to start at the supplier stage, right? How do I create my digital enabled service, or the software as a service or software as a platform, whatever idea is that startup or scale up is working on, to do that with a collaborative mindset. And so I believe in brands that come with that thinking in their mind and not just trying to reinvent the wheel. We don't really have time to meet the targets and be reinventing the wheel all the time. There's a lot of ideas already out there, and it's all about execution and capacity to go quickly to market with robust solutions that don't fail.
And things have changed over the last year, right? So it's a little harder for consumers to trust brands in general as a result of everything that's happened over the last 2 years. So even more difficult in an industry that's as small and focused as the circular economy when they're trying to make sure that they're actually having a better impact on the environment. I want to thank you. We are out of time. Thank you both sincerely again to Natasha Frank and Maria Marech from Eon Group and Circlo. It's always an honor to have you here. We definitely would love to have you back on the show in the future.
Thank you so much, Costa. Really good to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Some final logistics, everybody here. Do feel free again to follow us across our social channels here on LinkedIn. Feel free to subscribe to the Future of Customer and Engagement website. Also, do feel free to reach out to us directly at cxunplugged@sap.com if you would like to take part in this series yourself. Stay tuned for our next episode coming up this Thursday at 11 a.m. as Lisa James hosts Jen Van de Zande and Tracy Wallace from Marketer Hire on the unstoppable world of e-commerce. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your day or evening.
Thank you, Costa.